Hi, I'm Duncan Moss, and I'd like to welcome you to my latest video blog. Today I'm going to be talking about the Gerry Anderson fantasy science fiction series Terrahawks, which is about to celebrate its 40th anniversary, which I believe is on the 10th of October. Uh, the show was first broadcast on Saturday, the 8th of October, 1983, on Southern TV, and then broadcast by a load of ITV regions, 4:30 on Sunday, the 9th of October. And the reason why it's the show's birthday is the 10th of October is, I believe, because of the phrase 1010 that's used in the series. 9 out of 10 times, the show's birthday is the first time it got broadcast anywhere, i.e., with Thunderbirds, which is the 30th of September, because it was shown by ATV on that day. And Terrahawks has a special place in my heart because it's the first, excuse me, the first series that I sort of watched as it progressed. And really, the first time that the Gerry Anderson fandom had assembled, and Sylvia Anderson as well, of course, had assembled um, to greet any work that was made by these two people who are now working separately. And what happened was I joined Fanderson, the Gerry Anderson fan club, in 1982, and the SIG, which was the club fans in, that announced that this new series that Gerry Anderson had been working on for several months, working very hard, had now got the go-ahead. This was in August 1982, and it was called Terrahawks. And I was very, very excited, and I told my brother and sister that Gerry Anderson was working on a new series, and they just said they weren't interested. So I went, okay, fine. Not everybody's cup of tea, I guess. But when I went to Fanderson 82, the convention that was that year, and Gerry arrived on Saturday, early Saturday afternoon, to a fanfare with the press, and a load of fans and pressmen were taking photographs of him in the front of the hall at the Bloomsbury Crest Hotel. I remember a very nice photographer stood back to let me take a photograph on my little 110 camera, which was very kind. And Gerry began to speak about what was going on at the moment in his career. He thanked the people who had stood by him through difficult times. And he spoke about Terrahawks, but only a very little, which surprised me at any rate. I thought he was going to not want us to ask questions about the old stuff. I thought he was going to want to answer questions about his new show, but he said no, that there will be press announcements, press releases made as the series progresses. So we all thought, great, we can ask about his old series. But just before he came on, we were treated to a cartoon, not a cartoon, sorry, a very, very well made movie that showed a technical diagram of one of the craft from the series. I think it was the Hawkwing, and it looked just absolutely wonderful. It looked so Gerry Anderson-ish. It wasn't true. Of course, Sylvia had her own career now. So Gerry didn't have her as part of his team. uh, Terrahawks would be made with a much lower budget than any of his the ones that were made during the Super Marionation years, and a much smaller crew. Um, and what became quite apparent to us was that Gerry told us that there's nothing that survived from the 60s that could be used. No backdrops, no painted sky. They were assembled at Bray Studios to make the show, and everything was having to be made from scratch. And Bray is where, of course, they made the Hammer Horror House of Horror films. It's quite a small place, but ideal, I think, for this series. And um, we we were told the cameras would start shooting. It was October '82 when we had the convention, and we were told that the cameras would start to whir in January '83. No idea when the show was going to get shown. Gerry obviously hoped it would be before, leading up to Christmas for the merchandise sales and everything. And we really knew very little about it. Very tantalising, some of the reports we got in SIG, which came out every 3 or 4 months. But we learnt that there was a character in it called Tiger Neinstein, Dr. Neinstein, who was voiced by Jeremy Hitchen, and there's 9 of him. It's him and 8 clones, and if should he be killed off in one of the episodes, they could get one of the other clones and put all his characteristics into the clone, and have so it's like a bit like Captain Scarlet, but with replacements rather than regeneration. Well, I kept an eye on the press like all the fans did, and Gerry did a feature on Radio 2, and there was an article in one of the papers called Gerry's Hawks, with Gerry holding the hawk wing and wearing a very nice suit. And basically it started as the summer ended and autumn broadcasting started. There were a few trailers on TV. There was one with Zelda, who's voiced by Denise Breyer, saying, "I'm Zelda, and you're not going to forget me in a hurry," or something, words to that effect. And Terrahawks is starting very soon, and which was great. And I tuned in on the 9th of October to watch the show at 4:30. I think it was between Fraggle Rock and Bullseye. They should have had a special Terrahawks Bullseye episode with Zelda or something, throwing darts or something. But I think it would have been a nice idea. Well, to be quite honest, I'd been waiting for this show for nearly a year. Very excited, and I really wasn't that impressed. I was very disappointed because, like everyone, I'd been expecting another Thunderbirds or another Captain Scarlet, just like when John Lennon started his new album and released his new album, Double Fantasy. We were all hoping for another Imagine. Now, I thought I'd give it a chance, and I watched the second episode, and that was a little bit better than the first episode. It was a two-parter, and I should watch my P's and Q's because it was written by Gerry himself, and it was, with all the stuff that's on television, it wasn't a bad effort. Writing a pilot is such a difficult thing. There's so many things you've got to get across to your audience. But I carried on watching, and then it was Thunder Roar with Shram, who was an alien dragony type thing. That was a good fun episode. Uh, then there was, I think, one with Moid, who was the master of infinite disguise. And suddenly, the show started to really take off. Okay, yes, it wasn't Thunderbirds, but it was still a very, very enjoyable half-hour show, and every penny that was had been brought from the series, which I believe a lot of the money came from Bandai from Japan, who were also responsible for the toy line. Um, the show, every penny is on screen, and it proved to be what had started off as quite a serious science fiction story with the base on Mars being destroyed by Zelda and her army. Uh, as the episodes progressed, the show started to become very, very campy and with its tongue in its cheek. Uh, but sometimes with serious science fiction thrown in as well. Uh, One of my favourite episodes, which I've actually got, I think Gerry's working script for, was Play It Again Shram, which was a Mickey take of the Eurovision Song Contest. And um, it was a Mickey take of the Eurovision Song Contest. I can't think what else it was a Mickey take of. It had a lovely homage to the Beatles, uh, which was great, and Kate Kestrel, one of the characters in the series, was also a singer. So this is the song that she sings in that episode, SOS Mr. Tracy, which was released as a single with "It's So Easy" on the B side. Two lovely tracks. It's failed to chart. I think they had two goes trying to get it to chart, and it's just decided to roll out of its cover, which is brilliant because that's my Joe 90 coloured vinyl single. Did exactly the same thing, and I wasn't able to catch it, unfortunately. So I think it's all right. There were other very, very enjoyable episodes like Top 10 Pop. As I say, it was turning very much into a very enjoyable comedy. There was a lot of merchandise came out. The first series, there were three series. The first 13 episodes, they were made in a block of 26. But the first 13 were broadcast from October 1983 to January 84. Some of them, unfortunately, not being in the afternoon. Some of them finding there was a Christmas episode, Christmas Miracle, that I think went out in the morning, as did I think the Midas Touch with the but. Stephen Begg was in charge of the special effects. He found himself getting promoted very quickly, and he did a fantastic job. Some of the spaceship crash landings were just wonderful. And very, very talented man who went on to do lots of wonderful other things, including Aliens. Very, very nice man indeed. Very modest. And well, the series brought back quite a few veteran Gerry Anderson crew. Bob Bell returned with his son Tony Bell, and Tony Barrick wrote a lion's share of the episodes. I think Christine Glandeville came back. Harry Oakes did as well, and but of course loads of new people as well. and made up a team of 65, which is a far cry from the 250 who worked on Thunderbirds. But the series was had a lot of beautifully designed craft, as all good Gerry Anderson series do, and I've got a few of them here. Um, this is this is the Battlehawk. This is the large version, which is, I suppose, Terrahawk's answer to Thunderbird 2. It has the Terrahawk on the front. This comes off and it flies through the air, and you could get a larger one of that. The whole craft flies. It has at the front. A vehicle could come out of here. Often it's Hudson, the Rolls chameleon coloured Rolls Royce. You can change colour. It has also got a back which opens up and something can come out or enter through there. And just below at the bottom is the battle tank, which I think is first used in the episode that has Shroud in it. But a beautiful craft. Just put that, and I think here is a smaller version of the Battlehawk, and they came a little later. These ones. This is the Treehawk, which goes up. This is a small one. As I say, you've got them in small versions and large versions. And of course, you've got the lovely logo that's got Zelda and the Terrahawks crew at the top with the Terrahawks logo. There we go. We've then got the Space Hawk. That's the space station, which is commanded by Hero, I think it is. And here I have Lieutenant Hero figure. They're still in its packaging. He was the one who said the exactly. Of course, the Japanese just loved Gerry Anderson, so I'm sure they were delighted to have a Japanese character in it. Then we've got. I think I've shown this before. This is it's Space Sergeant 101. I think it is, and it's signed by Judy Priest, who was the puppeteer, operated 101. He spoke with a very, very lispy voice, I seem to recall. That's great. And then last one, no means least, Dr. Neinstein, as I say, voiced by Jeremy Hitchen. This is the only figures I've got. The other very fine voice artists were, as I already said, Denise Breyer, Robbie Stevens, who did the voice for Youngstar, who was Zelda's bungling son, who, like Parker, had never been in Thunderbirds, had never been designed to be a major character. But as the show developed, it seemed he just sort of started to develop as a major character, and he was sort of like a sort of intergalactic Stan Laurel. And had anything happened to him, I think people would have been rather sad. I think I felt terribly sorry for him when he was at the top of the Hawkwing, and Neinstein presses a button and the top comes off, and of course it's a bomb once it detaches from the main craft, and poor Youngstar's inside it. um, and you can't control it at all. But it's still it's a great episode, and he's all right, young star, in the end. Um, and basically, the second season went on from October '84 into 85, and that was on us in the afternoon. And I had a friend who worked for ITV who said it was doing very well. Um, when we went to Fanderson '84, another wonderful convention. They showed three of the episodes that hadn't been transmitted yet, and I think we had Play It Again, Shram, Top Ten, Pop, and Coldfinger, and all three episodes were just greeted with laughter from a massive audience, showing that Gerry's work, although for television, works very well with a large audience. And that was the 26 episodes used up. There had been a further 13 uh, made due to the success of the show. Um, and there was talk of a further 26, which would have made the tally up to 65, which would have been fantastic for American networks. Could show those 65. It was the magic number, and they were hoping very much. In fact, they were so optimistic about getting the go ahead for these last 26 episodes that they actually the crew started to work on episode 40. But the next day, they were told that the deal was off, and they all needed to basically stop what they were doing and be out by a certain time, which was terribly sad. So the series ran for 39 episodes, which is the same as Fireball XL5, Supercar, and Stingray. So I guess we can't complain too much. But had it gone to 65 and been shown all over the States, the idea would have been all 65 episodes would have been shown 4 times over a certain period. That could have really strengthened Gerry's position on the international circuit, on the international market. But it didn't happen. But Gerry would plough on with another series. He'd make a low budget stop frame photography series called Dick Spanner, which was quite charming, and eventually get a series called Space Prince off the ground. I believe that Terrahawks, if you can just allow the show to don't expect. It says expect the unexpected in the show. Well, as long as you don't expect too much, and give the show a chance for its charm to come, you'll. I don't think you'll regret it. It's available on several platforms, and I believe ITVX have got it. And of course, it's available both in DVD and Blu-ray versions. They found some master tapes that were in very good condition that were easily good enough to have a Blu-ray edition made. So that was made. That was released. The DVDs and Blu-rays are well worth getting because they have a generous amount of extra material, including storyboards and artwork from the episodes, which is absolutely beautiful and very nicely presented on the screen as well. The series had surprised a lot of people because it was made in 16mm. So the quality of the picture would not be quite as good as the Super Mario Nation shows. Although with the 60mm cameras, they were up much closer to the characters a lot of the time, and they even the Gerry's team, they even made their own 60mm cameras. And Gerry said in an interview earlier on that you get a much better depth of field with 16mm. So that's the series went out. It did first get out on DVD by Revelation Films uh, in the early noughties, and they did as good a job as they could with it. But now the new releases are very well, very fine releases, and were worth getting. On this coming Tuesday, there is going to be a broadcast on the Gerry Anderson podcast at 7 o'clock British summertime, and that will be a lot of fun. Presented by some very nice people. Not me, by the way. I don't think I could be any good at that kind of thing. I'm not even good at this, am I? Let's face it. But it should be a lot of fun. So, as I say, Terrahawks, it didn't let the Gerry Anderson fans down at all. I think it was a very enjoyable show. And there's a possibility, isn't there, of a new series somewhere along the line with new craft, which was what was going to happen had the show continued to 65 episodes, there would have been new Terrahawk craft. Well, I think this is what the plans are if this new series of Terrahawks gets off the ground. Well, I hope you've enjoyed me waffling along. And if you like what you've seen and heard, please take like. If you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you aboard. I talk about many different, a wide variety of subjects. And anyway, God bless, and hopefully a lot of you will join us. Will join the YouTube. Gerry Anderson podcast, it's called, and we should have a good, fun evening. God bless. Bye.